Okay. My name is Dayanara Sprong. It's spelled like Dayanara. So there's an A after every letter. Pretty cool. So I began to develop an eating disorder when I was about 14 years old. I remember the first kind of thinking, like the first time I ever had one of those thoughts that's like, if I just don't eat, you know? And that was when I was going on a walk because I was going to Virginia Beach for like one of the choir field trips. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to go for a walk. And then on that walk, I thought, if I just don't eat pizza that night, then I'd be fine. And so that was like the first time I ever thought something like that. I thought it was dumb, you know? I want to go home and eat pizza after my walk, right? I never really thought that it would become what it was, become a whole full-blown eating disorder. Yeah, so body dysmorphia and eating disorders don't always go like hand in hand. Like you can have body dysmorphia and not have an eating disorder. Like for me, I have anorexia and depression, from what I know of so far. I don't know. They might put another diagnosis on there one day. I don't know. I think it came from a lot of the diet culture that I was surrounded with, and that I grew up hearing people tell me not to eat, because I would be at family reunions and I would just be a natural kid, you know, eating a whole lot of food, whatever was there, because I enjoyed it. And then I would have family members tell me that I need to watch what I eat as a kid. And then so like it's just been drilled into my head that way. I still don't understand it now. I don't think that's what caused my eating disorder, but I do think that if I grew up in an environment that didn't preach thinness, then maybe I would have had more of a fighting chance in my mind to like not develop an eating disorder. I would have been absolutely happier and healthier in my own body, regardless of like just the diet culture is so fucked up. A part of me wonders like if I did have guidance, would it have been better? Like if she was alive, would she have at least noticed? Because no one noticed as I was growing up. My family didn't know until about a year ago. So I think it affected me in a way that I was blocking the emotion of my mother's death, and so that trauma had to come out somehow. It had to, materialize in some way. I don't address my mother's death a lot. I just kind of put it on the back burner because in my mind, everyone dies. So I'm kind of like desensitized to it. But I definitely think that if my mother was still alive, that maybe like she could have helped me recover more. But like I can't really, she's dead. Like my life is what it is without her. It's easier to say sexual assault than it is to say the R word. That really broke me. I used to always say that my mother's death was nothing compared to what truly broke my spirit. And I don't remember much after what happened. It was kind of just like I was on autopilot, and I was thinking about it the other night, and I was remembering that even though I wasn't engaged in eating disorder behavior, I wasn't eating just because of like the mental trauma that it put on me. And I started like being friends again with people and kind of coming back to life is like when I realized like how skinny I got, and it like scared me. But luckily, like I had friends who kind of saw that something was wrong, and she kind of like pushed me to like eat again. My lowest point was more recent, even though those events like destroyed me, and I think they still affect me to this day. And I think the fact that I haven't exactly confronted them and healed from them is probably a factor into why my eating disorder has still been so prolonged. Recently, though, it's been bad, you know? It's been worse than it was when I was in high school. So I started doing art after the sexual assault. It was kind of just something that came to me, you know? I was just in class one day. They were talking some history shit. I don't know. I wasn't listening. And I remember just like looking down on my binder where I drew like a really horrible bird. It looked like crap. And it was like the first time I smiled since the rape. So I even have like pictures on my phone of some of the very first few like doodles I've ever really done with such energy behind them. Because I did art before the events, but it was more just like I'm bored pastime doodle. After the events, there was just like this certain energy behind it. And so like it became survival for me. I like to do tarot. I feel energy from crystals. Meditation is just beautiful. I definitely don't do them as much as I would like to. It's a practice. Like, it's not as easy as you would think, because like you're uncovering trauma, and so you have to heal, and healing hurts sometimes. So there was this quote that I saw one time. Imagine how different our ideals of beauty would be if we saw spirit instead of our physical bodies. And I think that just kind of sums up how I wish we could see. It is really messed up how we're so focused on physical appearance. But recovery is possible. That is something that my therapist keeps telling me, that recovery is possible. There are different ways that recovery can happen. I've had some difficult times with my doctors. Let's put a tube down your nose. I walked out of the hospital before they could. And that definitely, being in the hospital and hearing all what they had to say, and it motivated me to get out of there and really take this seriously, because I don't want to die from my eating disorder. I would be so disappointed in myself if I died before I was truly able to live my life. And that's been something that's been on my mind for like years now, to like use those things as motivation to become better. To be supportive for someone, you have to ask them what they need. You can't just assume that what you're doing is helping. You have to have that conversation with them to see what they need. I would just say, just be better people to other people. Like, the society we live in is so mean. I believe in a life where we can all be happy. I believe in a life where we're not financially worried or afraid to talk to people because of what they might say to you. I believe in a life full of love for everyone. And people have illnesses. People struggle through things that they can't control. I think we just need more empathy in the world. I just want people to be kind to each other.